Hi, today I'm going to be going over my comp crawler, my 2.2 Sportsman's Class or the Shafty. So let's get started. So basically what I got here is my chassis. This chassis here is mine. I designed and built it. I also sell these. I call it my bighorn. I call it the bighorn because I heard in Nevada where we crawl, there's a lot of bighorn sheep, and those guys they walk all over all the rocks up into areas and stuff that a lot of man can't go to. So I thought that'd be a proper name to give this thing. Basically it's 1/8 inch Delrin side plates, 1/4 inch Delrin plate. They don't come pre-drilled because don't know what kind of transmission you're going to throw in them. They do come with the braces up top, but they do not come with the mounts on top. I put those on myself, but you can mount onto the side here. But we don't use the side mounts just because of the fact that when you're comp crawling, you want to eliminate any type of anything to get hung up on rocks, so we don't use those. But you can pick this up at badrcgraphics.com. It's not on the website, but if you request it, they will get one to you. They're roughly around $40. Not exactly quite sure the price yet. The links up the bottoms and the uppers are all Delrin 5/16 rod. There's a reason why I use those. I'll get to that a little later. But so let's get to the front. On the front here, I'm using pretty much all Vanquish C-hubs, knuckles, steering rod. I got beef tubes in my axles. They extend into the axle and out to the C-hub, so it gets it really rigid. I'm using universals here, CVDs. They've been notched out. They've been grounded down a little bit on the inside there, so there's more turning radius without having to get hung up. As you can see, I've got also over here, I've got RC four-wheel drive wheel extenders. The only reason why I use those is because I run axial wheels, which do not have hubs. There are mods out there that you can use to attach the Vanquish hubs to the axial wheels, but I don't have the time to do that. When you have a family and kids, you got to just do what you got to do to get things to work and move on. For my servo, I'm using a high-tech 7954 SH, about 411 ounces per for torque at 7.4 volt. I'm actually using these batteries here. This is a 3S LiPo, and it's 1,000 milliamp. I get about an hour and 15 minutes of crawl time out of it because you're not going very fast. It's pretty slow. Got my speed control. Right now I'm just running stock axial. They're made by Castle, so it's the same thing. They're great speed controls, and as you can see, it is mounted on top of the links. That's to keep all the weight up here. I'm running Traxxas / front, and these are the big bore aftermarkets, the longs. These are stiff springs, and I've got about a 1/2 inch spacer in all of them, and that's how they're all set up all around the entire rig. The reason for that is because I've got it to where there's minimal articulation. That's about what I want right there. Because in comp crawling, you want minimal articulation. You don't want too much, because if you get too much, as you start get high, and especially when you're climbing, and it goes to, and the higher you get, your torque twist starts going more, and then it creates the front, the tire that's still touching, it starts to lift off, and you start losing traction, and then eventually it makes you want to flip back. So I stiffened up my shocks as much as possible. The fronts are 40 weight oil, the backs are 80. That's to do that so this is a little softer, so it has more of a chance to dig in a little bit more than the backs, because you don't really want the backs to dig in all that much. I've also got a BEC that I'm running. That's because with the 3S, it steps down the power down to the servo, so I don't jack up my servo. Got a RC four-wheel drive 35 turn motor. It's doing the job for right now, but for next season I'm upgrading to a Holmes Hobbies Torque Master Pro, a 35 turn. I'm running an 87 tooth spur and a 14 tooth pinion. It slows it down pretty good, especially with the 35 turn for crawling. Let's see what else. In the back here, I've got my receiver mounted on my upper links, kind of just like how my speed control is. I got back here. I know you want to keep all the weight pretty much as you can off the back end, but it's minimal weight with this, and plus I ran out of room up front, so that's how I got this one mounted. I'm running all STRC upper link mount braces, of course Vanquish lockouts, more, you know, the beef tubes are going in there. Let's go with the bottoms. So pretty much back to the links. Delrin is a resin. It's made out of resin. It's an oil-based resin that, so when you run over rocks and stuff, it makes it slick. It doesn't catch as much. I mean, it scratches up and marks it, but it doesn't, like aluminum, how when you get a scrape, or how you can create a burr with aluminum, it doesn't do that. It slides right over really good. As you can see, it does mark, but it's not drastic. I mean, there's no burrs on any of my stuff, so nothing to get hung up. One other thing I want to go over is the pinion here. As you can see, my pinion is pretty level, the angle. Well, there's a lot of speculation, a lot of talk about, you know, the pinion angle, that it can cause torque twist, all this and that. But, you know, I've done a lot of reading on RC crawler forums, and I've done a lot of reading, and, you know, half the people say yes, you know, the angle does affect torque twist, and half say you don't. So, you know, the thing is, you just got to play with it. You just got to see what works for you, because every rig's going to act differently depending on, because you know, you got different shock setups and your suspension, your linkage. I mean, everything is completely different. So let's go to the wheels. Right now I'm running Voodoo pins. They're made by Ot6 Racing. The compounds I'm using silvers on both front and back. It's because we crawl in the winter, so it's colder. They have golds, which are a lot softer, but you don't want that you don't want to be too soft. So these are what was the recommendation for our climate. They come with well, they don't come, but you have to order. See, the tires themselves don't come with foams. You got to order the foams separately. But I ordered my foams and wheels through Crawler Innovations, and when you order through them, you can order a combo set, and the foams will come. You can order them with a comp cut, and so it's like a step. It's like the foam's like been cut like a step. It looks. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, it works great. And then you also order by the outer ring of foam. You have a choice of how you want to do that one. Well, the fronts I got softs, because you want those softs to be able to dig in to grab. The backs are firm, because you don't want that to dig in as much. So remember, you want the front end to dig in to grab, to pull up the front. They're not real cheap. They're a little pricey. I think with the full set shipped to me, it was about $120 for the tires. But I tell you what, though, they are well worth it for the money. But the thing with these pins is, as you can see, let's see if I can get okay. The pins have they're two-sided traction, so you have a high traction and low traction side. As you can see, there's like pins, and there's two slits on one side and one slit on the back. The two slits, of course, are for more traction. If you want less traction, depending on the rock you're on, you flip them around and you use the single slit. Another thing I also want to point out, that when you buy them from Crawler Innovations as a set, as a combo, they will already come pre-assembled, marked front and rear, and they already come pre-vented. So you can see the hole here. They will prevent the hole, so everything, the air escapes. Another thing I want to go over too is the setup with the gearing. These are set up with over and under drive. So basically what it is that the front turns faster than the rear. The reasoning for that is when you're crawling up something, the back acts as more of like an anchor, and so it doesn't want to dig in as much. So the front will pull it all up. That's why all the weight is on the front and not the rear, because you want to just drag the rear. Another good thing too about it is that it almost acts as like a dig. So like if you want to do a turn, you want to do a tight turning radius, you turn your tires and you pop the throttle a few times, and it will hop, and it's because the front is spinning faster than the back. It acts as almost like a dig, and so it kind of gives it a quick, faster, sharper turning radius than just over stock. So pretty much that is pretty much what I'm going over here with my comp crawler. I'm just kind of giving you, just an overlook of what my comp crawler is set up as, and trying to make just people know that, make them more educated about comp crawling. These are great entry level comp crawlers. They don't cost as much to get them running as much as like the MOA crawlers, because you got double the speed control, double the motor. There's more involved. But it's a great way to get involved into the comp crawling. But that's pretty much it. That's my comp crawler. If you guys have any questions about it, go ahead and send out a comment, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. One thing I did want to point out though is with these shocks is, since I'm using the Traxxas shocks, they got those the caps. They use caps and not rod ends, so I'm using these deluxe cap mod brace. I don't know what these. I can't remember. I don't know exactly what they're called, but they're all stainless steel and they work great. And like I said, Deluxe makes them. You can buy the cheap ones. You can buy like plastic ones, but if you're doing some serious crawling, I mean, you want to go with the stainless steel, because it'll last and they won't snap and break like the plastic ones do. So. But again, I appreciate you watching my video and checking it out. And like I said, this is just my setup. Every crawler is going to have its own different setup. You just got to find what works for you. But this is what's working for me right now. But I just appreciate you watching my video. And like I said, if you have any questions, just give me a comment, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. All right, thank you.